Next we have some Christmas poetry by Marcia Prather.
Yes.
When the microphone stops working, I'll just talk louder, or more loudly, correct. So first, Carol said, could you find a poem? I said, sure. And then she said, well, maybe two. And I have two, and then I have a little tiny one at the end that just fit in so perfectly, I decided to keep it. The first one is by Eugene Field, one of my favorite children's poetry. Of course, he died in 1895, which tells you about what kinds of poetry I like, old poetry. This is called Just for Christmas, meaning before Christmas. Father calls me William, sister calls me Will, mother calls me Willie, but the fellers call me Bill. Mighty glad I ain't a girl, rather be a boy, without them sashes and curls and things that's worn by Fauntleroy. Love to chunk green apples and go swimming in the lake. Hate to take the castor oil they give me for bellyache. Most all the time, the whole year round, there ain't no flies on me, but just for Christmas, I'm as good as I can be. Got a yeller dog named Sport, sick 'em on the cat. First thing she knows, she doesn't know where she's at. Got a clipper sled, and when us kids go out to slide, long comes the grocery cart and we all hook a ride. But sometimes, when the grocery man is worried and cross, he reaches at us with his whip and larrups up his horse. And then I laugh and holler, oh, you never touched me. But just before Christmas, I'm as good as I can be. Grandma says she hopes that when I get to be a man, I'll be a missioner like her oldest brother Dan. He was ate up by cannibals that lives in Ceylon's Isle, where every prospect passes and only man is vile. But Grandma, she has never been to see a Wild West show, nor read the life of Daniel Boone, or else I guess she'd know that Buffalo Bill and cowboys is good enough for me, except just before Christmas when I'm as good as I can be. And then old Sport, he hangs around, so solemn-like and still, his eyes, they keep saying, what's the matter, little Bill? The old cat sneaks down off her perch and wonders what's become of them two enemies of hern that used to make things hum. But I am so polite and tend so earnestly to biz that Mother says to Father, how improved our Willie is. But Father, having been a boy himself, suspicions me when just before Christmas I'm as good as I can be. For Christmas, with its lots and lots of candies, cakes, and toys, was made, they say, for proper kids and not for naughty boys. So, wash your face and brush your hair and mind your P's and Q's. So don't bust out your pantaloons and don't wear out your shoes. Say yes-em to the ladies and yes-er to the men. And when there's company, don't pass your plate for pie again. But thinking of the things you'd like to see under that tree just before Christmas, be as good as you can be. I don't know this next poet, Jim Yerman, but it's called The Good Old Days, which seem to fit. I've heard it said, if you live in the past, the less future you have to enjoy. Yet sometimes I long for the good old days, back to the time I was just a boy, back when people found time for each other, a time of kindness and courtesy, back when we would sit in the shade and find faces in the clouds, back when we were more innocent and free. Oh, I know life wasn't perfect then, and memory has a way of highlighting the good while forgetting the bad and calling it the good old days. Still, there's a reason we hold on to those memories, why life seems in retrospect happier than it appeared, why we think back on those times with a smile, why we remember the laughter instead of the tears. It's because we cannot escape our past, no matter how comforting or beautiful or frightful. But if we can bring the best of our past to our present, it makes our future more delightful. So, now when I sit in the shade and find faces in the clouds, in the belly of the mountain's distinctive blue haze, I take a moment to say thank you, for my future looks bright because of those good old days. This one's also called The Good Old Days, but it has a slightly different bent. There never were the good old days, as those that remember say, for the days they remember were when they were young, and then they were too young to remember.